Whew, whew. Okay. Gotta do a few more things, and I really want to get my caffeine, but we might be out of time for that. Maybe. No, I guess we'll see. Anyways. Man, Sunday is not my best day ever for this kind of stuff. Maybe I should push back the times. But, well, you guys aren't here to hear about me complain about my days. I mean, okay, maybe I'd probably do that if I were, the big corporate VTuber and needed to buy some time, but, well, there's a lot of things I can't mention since it's a lot of NDA and whatnot, I think. Then I just kinda don't want to blow my, my own cover. So, in any cases... Okay, and what else? Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Just a bit more, and it'll be time to go. Alright. Here we are. Let's make sure. And alright. That's enough. It's go time. Let's finish this once and for all. At least I never stated in my original bet that I have to finish the entire game. Not that I'd mind it, but, well, I can't stay in one game for too long. It's kind of a weakness these days, ever since I quit MMO. It's like, it's hard to imagine myself playing a game for... I mean, at the longest, I'll spend 1 month on a game. But I really don't want to push any more than that. But that's just a weird, personal kind of thing. Anywho. Okay. I think, this was the file. Oh, wait. Let me, do something before we start. Okay. That's why you don't hear me drinking a lot on stream. I literally sound like a dead person. Okay. But in any cases, hello, hi, and I hope Sunday's been going well for everyone. I am somewhat exhausted, but I promised to finish, and it's not like I haven't delivered. Even on the worst games like Drake of the 99 Dragons, I still fucking finished it. And if I were to play something like Aliens, Colonial Marines, I'd finish that too. But thankfully, Hakuoki is not the quality of any of those. Nor would I ever recommend any of the other two, unless you're morbidly curious like a monkey. Anywho, let's have a relaxing, Sunday, shall we? Yeah, let's go. Speaking of our girl, though, I must say, I did not expect her to be in a game. Oh man, I sure hope I can play Gunvolt 3 soon. Would be kind of funny. Kind of. But well. Maybe someday I'll get to fight Pam as a boss in a Dark Souls game. That'd be like a dream come true kind of scenario. But enough about that. Let's move on. Well, actually, let me ramble a little longer. While I do make it sound like I got forced against my will to complete the bet, well, to be honest, I just kinda wanted to fit in, at least, maybe just once. I don't know if I'll ever achieve that kind of feeling again in a lot of new places, but maybe someday. Maybe. I mean, it certainly isn't happening with, as much as I'd hate to say it, I feel like an outcast on Twitter. So, well, I guess at least here, I can be a mediocrum of me. Or, well, a smidgen of me, I don't know. I'm just rambling like an old man now on, caffeine pills. I'm not actually on caffeine pills, just saying. Anywho. Obake! Obake! Someone is calling out my name. Surrounding me is a vibrant meadow covered in a gorgeous blanket of wildflowers. In the distance, I recognize our small home situated in the village hidden deep in the mountains. This is where we lived our modest but idle life. Is that a word? I've never seen that word. Not even once. Anywho, and then one day, our village was set ablaze. The flames bled into the sky, filling it with an ominous crimson haze. Obake, where are you? Obake. Oh, good lord. This would be better if Akko were saying it, not me. Someone precious had been calling out to me. Suddenly, the ground around my feet was littered with an array of atrophied corpses, each body marked with a mortifying expression. My lungs were filled with the char of smoke, making it difficult to catch my breath. Then I blacked out. Oof. As I regained consciousness, someone was carrying me.
あと少しで山を越えられる。もう少しだけこらえてくれ。
We're almost out of the woods, my child. Hang in there, just a tad longer. This is why I don't voice act. The man panted heavily as he carried me through our swift escape down a forested trail.
それにしても、むごいことをするものだ。
You know, I never thought I'd be reading a serious story on stream, or at any point, to the wider web. The last time I ever did this was with fanfics of very questionable qualities. But that was a long time ago. I cannot believe the tragedy that has befallen us. They will never get away with this.
お化けの協力を断られたからといって、村に火をつけるなど。
All because we refused to participate in their coup. They have destroyed our home. Even though I was but a child. I realized my innocence, my home, all of those would never return to me. The further we fled from the village that we called home, the more my heart filled with terror, and my eyes filled uncontrollably with tears. I hate them. A voice echoed from out of nowhere, as if it had entered my brain like a curse. We just wanted to live in peace away from the troubles of humans. Those bastards just want to destroy and destroy. But why would they destroy our home? The sound of the mysterious voice spewing in its indignant cries came to a cacophonous harmony with my desperate sobbing. Was it cacophonous? That's a new one too. Huh. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them! Okay, I'm not doing that one. I'm too tired. All of my dying clan's resentment and sorrow manifested into a haunting condemnation. I hate them. Oh, jeez. Their words became my words, and the same bitter sentiment left my mouth. Hey, little sister? Obake? This voice. It's... Oh. My eyes widened, and it was Okita staring back at me with a concerned expression. Oh dear. Oh. Was I just dreaming all of that?
大丈夫? ずいぶんうなされてたみたいだけど。
Oh dear. Well, are you alright? You were talking in your sleep.
もしかして怖い夢でも見た?
Were you having a nightmare? No, it wasn't that. I'm just still adjusting to sleeping at this hour. Don't worry about me. For some reason, I felt too embarrassed to look Okita in the eyes, so I fidgeted and stared at the ground.
下手な嘘はやめたら。人間って得て増えてがあるんだから。
Why would you even bother lying to me? You're terrible at it. What? I'm not lying! I shouted impulsively at him, rushing to clasp my hand over my mouth as soon as the words came out. Oh. Okita was taken aback by my surprising outburst, and for a while he seemed offended, but he shifted into a more sympathetic approach.
ごめん。君のことが心配だったから。
Oh, sorry. I'm just looking out for you, is all. No, I should be the one apologizing. He was only showing me concern, so it was unfair of me to yell at him. I wondered what compelled me to do so. It was different to discern or trust my own feelings. Something nasty began to fester in the pit of my stomach. I needed to take better care of myself. I began to wonder if becoming a Fury would not only deteriorate my body, but my mind as well. Oh dear, I need to breathe.
君の話
Let's
聞か
drop
せて
it.
くれる?
His urge was curt but gentle, and I thought it was a good opportunity to open up about how I felt. I took deep breaths, making it easier for me to gather my thoughts coherently before I spoke. An advice I probably should do myself if I don't want to die of oxygen starvation. I had a flashback, just a little one, about my childhood. Back then, we lived in a remote, peaceful village. But one day, for whatever reason, an army of humans marched into our village armed with weapons. As I searched for details of the memory, I bit my lip. I realized that I was uncovering a deeply buried trauma that had been waiting for me all my life. They lit the village on fire, and my parents as well, as other demons we knew were all murdered. All we wanted was a life of peace and solitude. Recounting the story triggered all of my hateful feelings once more, brewing like a storm in my heart. Whatever selfish reason they had, they killed men, women, children, everyone. An entire village who only wanted peace. I was aware that most people aspired to obey their inherent goodness, hoping to triumph over evil. An interesting statement. I want to believe that too. I knew this was not the truth for all men. There were men who took pleasure from their evil deeds. Obake. Okita gazed at me longingly, reaching his hand out to mine as a gesture of comfort. However, I couldn't reciprocate it. I don't know what to think anymore. I never, ever imagined myself as someone who would let their resentment consume herself. I could wager what that looks like, but that's a story for another day, perhaps. I suppose that my bitterness had nowhere to go, and the tiny flame within me grew and grew until it had become a wildfire intent on getting vengeance. Now, I wanted nothing more than the families of those who destroyed my village to suffer in agony for generations until they could no longer conceive of hope. As such thoughts simmered fiercely in my mind, I suddenly gasped in shock.
今はあんまり思い詰めない方がいいよ。
I kinda have to agree with Okita. With Okita. Oops. Ah dear. I really shouldn't be reading while fatigued. Although I don't think I should be playing Dark Souls while fatigued either. Anyways, I don't know if you should focus too hard on that right now.
喉乾いたでしょ。水筒も空になっちゃったから、僕近くの川で水を汲んでくる。
You're thirsty, aren't you? We're out of water in our canteen, so I'm gonna fetch some from that river nearby.
君はここで待ってて。何かあったらすぐに僕を呼ぶんだよ。
Wait for me here. Call my name if anything happens. Okay, be careful. Okita jumped through the bushes to look for the river. Oh, this one then, well. Sweat dripped down from my forehead, and I wiped off a thick layer with the back of my hand as I sighed. Just then, I heard grass rustling underneath, heavy footsteps, only a little distance from where I was sitting. Okita, did you forget something? Oh no. When the voice didn't respond, a wet chill crept down the length of my spine. It wasn't Okita. I held my breath anxiously, waiting for an answer. Ooh, villain time! Now this I can voice act. You're a real bitch. You know that? How could you mistake your brother for Okita, of all people? Corey, what are you doing here? Well, I'm currently working in close cooperation with the Imperial Army. So it's easy for me to be on top of your whereabouts. I know you fought the Imperial Army at Utsunomiya Castle, and that now you're heading north. I can... Oh, hold on. I can only think of one reason why you'd split from the Shinsengumi to head north. Kaoru smirked with his suggestive tone, and he started approaching me slowly. With each step he took, I nervously took a step back.
少しは思い出したか俺たちが子供の頃のこと
So, it's all coming back to you now, isn't it? The memories of when we were children, I mean.
人間どもみたいに互いに争ったりせずつつましく生きてた俺たちがなぜか何もかも失わなきゃならなかった
Our life was so perfect, no need for the vitriol or the arguments that seemed to plague the lives of men. But that life was stripped away from us for no reason.
人間どもよりずっと強い体を持ってる俺たちがだよ理不尽だと思わないか
We, who were stronger, sturdier, better than them, were made to suffer. Kinda unfair, don't you think?
強いやつが報われるんじゃない正しいやつが成功するんじゃない
Those with the power to do great things are seldom given the opportunity at the hand of their rivals.
最後に笑うのはどんな時でも手段を選ばずに小ずるく立ち回ったやつだけだ
Only the ones who work... No, wait, yeah, there we go. Only the ones who work to step on the good graces of others, manipulating anyone who crosses their path, can have the last laugh. I think if Kaoru confronted me with this monologue just days ago, I would have dismissed it outright. But now... Our village was destroyed by humans, wasn't it? I was reminded of the nightmare I'd just had. And then, going back further, I recalled what Sen had told me before as well.
幕府を倒すため患者役をしろって西国の藩のやつらに脅されたんだ
Western domains threatened us to work as spies in order to overthrow the shogunate.
俺たちの父様は静かに暮らしたいから協力できないとその脅しを突っぱねた
Our father told him he refused to become involved in the conflict of humans, and he chose to ignore their threats.
そうしたらああやって里に火をかけられたのさ
Then they arrived, and they burned everything they could lay their clutches on. What Kaoru spoke of was a memory I had sealed away to live my life up until recently as a human. But all of it was coming back to me. All of his anger and acrimony was justified.
前に浸って生きてきたお前もようやく分かってくれたか
Ah, so now you finally understand why I am the way I am, despite living your life of privilege. Kaoru's eyes shifted to look far into the distance.
これでやっと俺たちは同じになれる本当の兄弟に戻れるんだ
At long last, we can come together. We can be the siblings we were born to be.
俺が長い時間をかけて味わってきた苦しみをお前はこの短い間に経験した
I have been enduring this burden alone for so long, and you had only suffered a taste of it.
俺たちは誰よりも互いの気持ちを分かり合えるはずだよそうだろ
We are twins, which means our bond is unlike any other. Don't you agree? Kaoru turned to face me again, and his eyes had a melancholic sincerity behind them. What do you hope to do?
決まってるじゃないか
Isn't it obvious?
俺は故郷で雪村一族を再興する人間たちに奪われた暮らしを取り戻すんだ
Oh, jeez, is this guy going Sasuke? Oh, man. My aim is to restore the Yukimura clan, our village, and we will reclaim the life that the humans stole from us.
俺の家族や里のみんなを虐げた奴らを許さない。
Man's really going Sasuke. Holy shit. Anyway. I will never forgive those who erased my family and the people from my village from this world. Oh. I said that wrong. Hold on. I will never forgive those who erased my family and the people from my village from this world.
俺たちの苦境を知っても手を差し伸べようとすらしなかった西国の鬼たちも。
Nor will I forgive the demon clans who ignored us in our time of need, leaving us to wither away to nothing without a second glance.
そしてこの国にはびこる薄汚い人間どもを。
And more importantly, I will never forgive the filthy humans who are tainting our beautiful country. Kaoru began to burn with a potent rage. However, sleep-deprived brain! Anyway, however, becoming privy to the reasoning behind all of this inner turmoil made me realize I was no longer afraid of him. If anything, I could only feel for him.
行動のおじさんが改良してくれた落ち水を使えば日の下で動ける羅刹の軍を作れる。
Kodo Yukimura had developed a second line of deadly furies whose battle proficiency was unhindered by sunlight. Oh my. Kodo has created an improved water of life, one that can allow any fury to withstand the sunlight. I froze. Koru, is father with you?
ああ、彼は俺たちの遠縁の親戚だからね。
Kodo Yukimura, the adoptive father of the protagonist, who, although a member of the Yukimura clan, isn't related to her by blood. Yes, he is a distant relative of mine after all.
雪村一族再興のため協力は惜しまないって言ってくれてるよ。
He has committed to the future of our clan, and we will use his improved serum to take back what's ours.
新しい落ち水を飲むとさ、人と交わって血が薄まった鬼でも鬼本来の力を取り戻すことができるんだ。
His new serum is so powerful that even half-demons can drink it to regain the powers, diluted by the sinful matrimony with humans.
その落ち水で俺たちの仲間をどんどん増やしていけば人間どもどころか。
With this new water of life, we can create an army, one that doesn't rely on any one demon,
西国の鬼たちだって敵じゃない。
one that will conquer all other demon clans.
俺たちはこの日の元の新たな名士になることができるんだよ。
With our new army, we will achieve what all the other demons failed to do, and we will conquer Japan! Kaoru reached his hand out to mine.
俺と一緒に行こう。
Obake, join me! What? Kaoru sprung his proposition on me. Oh boy. This was no joke from Kaoru. He was dead serious.
分かったんだろう。お前が望むなら沖田も一緒でいい。
You understand, don't you? If it will make you feel better, Okita can come along with you as well. Oh wait, oops. You understand, don't you? If it will make you feel better, Okita can come along with you as well.
邪魔な奴らを全て根絶やしにして、この国に俺たちの本当の居場所を作ろう。
We are gonna massacre the evil forces conspiring within this country for the greater good of our people. Just as Sen had predicted, Father was continuing his research on the water of life even after leaving the Shinsengumi. Koto Yukibara. The protagonist's missing father, who was secretly performing experiments upon the Furies in collaboration with the Satsuma Choshu. Perhaps father held the key to curing the affliction inside Okita and restoring his humanity. And together, perhaps we could create a new home for ourselves, one where we could live in peace. If this was the one chance to give myself the promise of a better future, was it worth it to accept? Oh shit! Wow, she really is going to the dark side. Oh my. Oh my.
僕は行かないよ。絶対に行かない。
I'm going nowhere. Never will. A familiar voice responded in the distance, and at once I was snapped back to
君
reality.
って本当にお人よしなんだね。
Obake, you really need a lesson on how to say no.
うまい話には裏があるって言うでしょ。
Haven't you ever heard of the phrase too good to be true?
こんな奴の言うこと信じちゃダメだよ。
That son of a bitch can't be trusted. Okita emerged from the tree, standing in front of me to confront Kaoru directly. Kaoru, however, seemed to have anticipated Okita's arrival, and he grinned suggestively.
今すぐ答えが欲しいわけじゃない。可愛い妹が悩む時間くらいはあげるよ。
I don't expect her to answer right away. It's a lot to consider. I figured I'd let my sister sit on it.
俺たちは故郷で待ってる。たどり着くまでに答えを決めておくんだね。
We will wait for you at our village. Make your decision before you meet us.
待て
Wait! Okita immediately unsheathed his sword and attempted to swipe quickly at Kaoru. Kaoru read Okita's movement easily, narrowly avoiding the attack as it grazed the fabric of his sleeve.
それじゃあな。いい返事を期待してるよ。
Until next time, Obake, I look forward to your answer. Then, Kaoru vanished from sight, melting into the air.
まったく逃げ足だけは早いな。
God damn, that guy is good at weaseling away. Okita sounded irritated as he sheathed his sword back into its scabbard.
何をぼーっとしてるの？
Sorry, a little sleepy. I'm hanging in there. Obake, wake up. Why are you just standing there with that stupid look on your face?
もしかしてあいつの口車に乗ろうなんて考えてるんじゃないよね。
Don't tell me you've fallen for his cajolery. Well...
あのさ、今のうちに言っておくけど。
You know, I'm only gonna tell you this once. Okita slowly stepped towards me. Just then... Oh shit. Okita's face scrunched in pain as he wrapped his arm around his body as he yelped desperately. Okita? Oh dear. In the blink of an eye, Okita's hair became stark white and his irises once again became crimson. The madness of the fury struck him once more, and this time it was aiming for his heart. However, a nervous feeling shot through me. Another dizzy spell pulsed in my head. Huh? It had become difficult to see clearly. My heartbeat had one ferocious pound, and then... Ah! Suddenly, I craved blood. I craved Okita's blood. My cravings began to dominate my mind, as if my body screamed to tear Okita limb from limb. It was an animalistic desire that became impossible to resist with each passing moment. The thirst came from within. It was innate, and it needed to be quenched immediately. Okay, I can't do this. My forehead burned unbearably all of a sudden. I instinctively reached to touch it when my finger felt something firm. Oh no, what was this? My hair, which was tied into a bun on top of my head, became undone and fell to my shoulders. From the corner of my eye, I saw my hair flicker. It turned white. No! I shook violently from fear. As I reached to touch my forehead once more, I felt two horns begin to poke through the flesh, slowly inclining themselves above the surface. No, am I? Oh. I'm sorry. This line's got me kind of rolling a little. No, am I really a demon? Madame? You know what, never mind. Was this because of the water of life? White hair and horns stabbing through my forehead? My soul, my body, both were becoming corrupted by the serum's poisonous effects. As a certain song would go, gotta let it out, gotta let it out, gotta let it out, gotta let it out. Fuck, okay, I'm having too much fun there. I should stop. The pain was abruptly punctured by a desperate thirst. No, it punctuated. A tickling sensation began to irritate every inch of my skin, making me want to scratch uncontrollably. No! Then a hand gently grabbed a hold of my shoulders. I was too embarrassed to let Okita see me like this, and I couldn't bear to turn and face him. Don't look at me. Okita was silent. Please, don't look at me. After I let out my sheepish whimper, he responded with a calm demeanor. Obaki, do you want my blood? No, I can't. All I could do was shake my head, fighting helplessly to suppress my cravings. He grabbed both of my arms and forced me to face back at him. There he was. Oh. In front of me stood a demon who resembled what I was slowly transforming into. However, he had no horns on his head. But just like me, his hair turned white, and he looked ravenous for the taste of blood. I wasn't alone. The knowledge of this overwhelmed me. I wasn't alone.
羅刹の血は君を今以上に羅刹に近づけてしまうかもしれない。
My tainted blood. It may contaminate you and bring you closer to becoming a full-blown fury. Okita breathed in a strained, panting staccato.
それだけは少し怖いけど、でも君が望むなら僕は拒まない。
That is my only fear, but if it make you feel better, take it. Okita, Oh no! It's time to save what is. This might be where we get a bad ending. I want blood. I need your blood, Okita. I didn't know how much longer I could tolerate the pain of my cravings.
わかった。
Gotcha. Okay. Okita smiled warmly, unsheathing his wakizashi from its short scabbard. Wakizashi, too short to be a full sword, but too long to be considered a dagger. The wakizashi was known as a companion sword. It was generally paired with a longer blade. Then he swiftly slid the edge of the tiny blade across his left thumb before offering me a taste. I watched as a drop of blood raced down the length of his thumb in slow motion as it gradually increased in size and thickness before dropping to the ground. Oh, The scent of blood stung my nostrils, wafting towards me with growing intensity.
いいよ。我慢しないで。
It's okay, Obake. Don't hold back. I wordlessly lunged forward, intimately wrapping my lips around his bloody appendage. At first, the luscious drop landed on my tongue. The pain disappeared, and in its place, a languid calm. I became entranced by its saturating taste. With each determined sip, I fell deeper and deeper into this stupor, and I was so close to Okita. Was this how he felt when he drank my blood? Oh, come on, give me the CG, come on. All this time, when he licked and slurped so eagerly from my flesh, was he too captivated by its taste? Damn it! Aw, come on. Okita, you too. As I reluctantly moved my lip from his thumb, I drew him closer and whispered coolly into his ear.
ありがとう。
Thank you. His eyes thinned, and he held his wakizashi again. This time, he slithered the freshly used sword against the length. Oh! This time, he slithered the freshly used sword against the length of my carotid artery along my neck. Oh my! I shut my eyes tightly. At first I winced as he broke the skin, and then I felt the touch of his warm, succulent lips. Feeling the slight pinch of his fervent sucking filled me with a wholesome comfort. I felt relief. I feel so fucking dirty reading this. Holy shit. Okay, well, somebody's gonna be very happy later. Somebody's gonna be real fucking happy. Oh, good lord. This is, I guess this is romantic? What am I fucking doing? Anyways, our lips were stained with red, lost in the passionate throes of our bloodthirsty cravings as we took turns gulping mouthfuls of each other's juices? What is this dialogue? Holy shit. I sound like a dumbass. It was an inhuman display, unlike anything I'd ever believed myself capable of. You know, from this angle, with that hair, she almost looks like Akka. Fuck, I'm high as shit. What am I saying? And yet, despite how it may have looked, it was sublime, and I basked in glee. If I had to endure this experience alone, I think the idea of such a display would paralyze me into inaction. But I wasn't alone. Okita, too, had submitted to this carnal impulse, and together we engorged into each other's body. Is this a euphemism for something? I didn't care if my mind would descend into madness from the effects of the serum. I felt captive to the taste of Okita's metallic blood, and I found myself becoming enchanted by its alluring aroma. Oh god. Did we get a bad ending? Does not seem like it. I hadn't considered how much colder the north was. Despite the incoming summer season, the blustery winds were freezing throughout the night.
もうすぐ夜が明けるし、今日はこの辺で休むことにしようか。
Sun's almost up, so why don't we take a rest over here for the day?
思った
Okay.
より時間かからなかったね。 こういう時羅刹の体って便利だな。
Huh, that didn't take as much time as I thought it would. Guess becoming a fury comes in handy sometimes. We were a ways from the village where I was born, the village of the Yukamura clan.
明日には君のお父さんや南雲薫と再会できるだろうけど、
Tomorrow is the day we'll finally come face to face with both your dad and
彼ら
Kaoru.
になんて返事をするか決めた？
Any idea of what you're gonna say to them? Well,
その様子だとまだ決めてないんだ。迷う必要なんてなさそうなのに。
judging by your silence, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a no. At least there isn't much to think about. Okita.
ん？何？
Hmm? What? Never mind. I wanted to ask him what he planned to do once he encountered them as well. But first, I had to settle on an answer for Kaoru. Or else, I knew that my feelings won't reach Kaoru.
ちょっと一緒に来てくれる？
Obake, can you follow me? Huh? Follow you where?
ついてくればわかるよ。ほら。
You'll see. Come here. Hey! Okita quickly grabbed a hold of my hand before walking away through a forested path. Where could he have been taking me? He gave me no chance to object, and he continued his brisk pace down the grassy knoll. Oh, wow! Okita brought us underneath a canopy that had a dazzling view of the stars scattered across the dusky sky. Ooh, okay. My cheeks were tingled by the caress of the soft breeze.
今日はよく晴れてるから君の気分も変えてあげられると思って。
The sky's all clear, so I figured a nice view would be just the thing you needed.
昼間の景色もいいけど、こういう眺めも悪くないでしょ。
I mean, sunny days are nice and all, but how about that view, huh? Okay, gotta stretch. Okay. It was all that Okita said, and more. I marveled in awe at the countless stars flickering brilliantly. The wind gently rustled the leaves overhead, allowing each brief, slimmering sconce to peek through the tiny holes in the tree. Something so simple became a moment that I could cherish for the rest of my life. Thank you for this, Okita. This is what I needed.
どういたしまして。ってなんか水臭いな。
You're welcome. You're such a prude. Okita cackled to himself, and he looked at me directly in the eye.
話してごらん。君はどうしたいの？
So talk to me. What do you want to do? I still hadn't settled on a decision, but I took a deep breath to gather my thoughts. I don't blame Kaoru for holding on to those feelings of resentment for as long as he has. He lost everything, his home, his family, and his entire clan, for nothing, all because of the selfishness of others. He wants to carve a better future for himself. I'm sure if I were Kaoru, I wouldn't be too far off. Kaoru had attempted to manipulate me at so many opportunities, but now I knew the pain that had resided deeply within him was true. That doesn't mean I've forgotten how many times he's crossed me, of course. After all, Kaoru is the reason that both Okita and I were suffering the effects of the water of life. But at the end of the day, Kaoru is still my brother. I was unsure if a time would come where I could forgive him for all that he had done to us. But my mind jumped to the horrific thought of having to endure the rest of my life without Okita. I realized that I too could become as bitter as Kaoru, cursing and hating everything that had the misfortune of entering my line of sight. Keeping this in mind, I couldn't quite bring myself to condemn Kaoru
君
entirely.
は彼らと一緒に行きたい？
So, you want to join them, is that it? I hesitated to answer his question. It wasn't as though I never considered it an option. We Furies were unable to live an ordinary life alongside humans. If we were destined to live behind the shadows of mankind, perhaps residing with Kaoru was best. Still, I held on to my reservations. Kaoru is seeking to reclaim some glorious life he has idealized at the expense of many others. That is something I cannot agree with. So, if I could maybe convince him to give up on this dream, to create this demon-run kingdom.
随分と都合のいい話だね。
Sounds a little delusional of you.
邪魔者を根絶やしにしてでも自分たちの居場所を作りたいと思ってる彼らが。
You're talking about someone who's willing to exterminate an entire race of people in the interest of his own clan.
そんな甘い願いなんて聞き入れてくれると思う？
You really think they'd even bother listening to your idiotic wish? Are you that naive? Well...
世の中にはね、人の醜い部分や汚い部分ばかりを見せつけられながら生きてきた人間っていうのがいるんだよ。
Look, kid. Okay, I'm gonna Look, kid. In this world, there are a lot of people who have been dealt... Hold on. Look, kid. In this world, there are a lot of people who have been dealt a shitty hand and have had to deal with it without any help from others.
そんな相手に甘っちょろい綺麗事なんて通用しないと思うけどね。
I don't think going in there and thinking you're gonna hold hands and make up will work on someone like him. Okita was right. I had no rebuttal. These emotions had festered for so long in Kaoru. His entire life was spent walking towards extracting his revenge upon the humans to rebuild his clan. Entertaining the idea of putting a halt to his vengeful plans would have been out of the question. Like Okita said, I am naive. During a pause in our conversation, Okita turned back to face the
僕
stars.
は君の望みを叶えてあげたかったんだ。
I wish I could have given you what you wanted.
だからもし君がどうしてもって言うんなら少しだけ付き合ってあげようかとも思った。
This hope you have, I wanted to go along with it and think everything be okay.
だって君がいてくれなかったら僕はこうして生きてるかどうかもわからないから。
Because to be honest, without you, I doubt I'd be even alive right now. Okita's eyes thinned, and there was no hint of sarcasm in his voice. He was trying to comfort me. To Okita, it was Kondo for whom he had worked his entire life. And now that Kondo had been taken from him, I was sure Okita had no objection to dying at any moment now. The fact that he was alive right now must mean
僕は君が望むものを与えてあげたい。本当に欲しいと思ってるものをね。
I want to make your wishes come true. All of them.
だからカオルの誘いには絶対に乗っちゃダメだ。
So that you'll never think of joining Kaoru.
人間を根絶やしにして自分たちの王国を築くなんて
To live in this world without humans.
君は望んでないでしょ。
That isn't what you want, right? Okita had a knack for articulating my inner thoughts far better than I ever could.
それとも化け物になっちゃったからって何もかも諦めてずっと暗い闇の中で生きていく
Or now that you've gotten a taste of what it's like to be a monster, is your plan to give up your entire life and just hide away from the world? I was speechless. Okita paid no mind as he continued without waiting for me to answer.
そんな生き方君には似合わないよ。君が良くても僕が絶対に許さない。
That's not you. I don't see it. And even if it were, there's no way in hell I'd let it happen.
世の中にはね、絶対に暗闇へ落ちちゃいけない人っていうのがいるんだ。
Duh! Man, this was definitely a good first round. I don't regret anything. You see, there are important people in this. Can they just say there are? What is wrong with there are? Why is it like this? I give up. You see, there are people in this world that are too important to let slip into darkness. Okita. I didn't want to live the rest of my life as a Fury. I didn't want to kill any humans. All I had ever wanted was a life of peace. Okita helped me remember that this was my dream all along. He saw right through me, sensing what I was beginning to slip away because I had drunk the water of
落
life.
ち水の毒を消す方法さえ分かれば、君も僕も狂気から解放される。
Soon as we can find a way to cure the water of life, we'll be free from all this
君
madness.
は君のままだ。化け物なんかじゃない。
You are you. You are no monster. What? Was that so much to ask for, to be free of this curse? When Sanan was still with the Shinsengumi, he had spent years searching for a cure. In the end, he was unsuccessful. Okita knew this. But against all of the odds, he put his faith in whatever sliver of hope he had.
それでも、もしも君が全て諦めて、願いを放り出すって言うんなら、
After all this, if you still plan on just walking away from me and everything you have. Okita reached his hand to me kindly. The soft touch of his finger gave me goosebumps, and he stared back at me affectionately.
僕が君を殺してあげるよ。
Then I will kill you.
君が前に進むことまで諦めるつもりなら、どこにも行けないように僕が終わらせてあげる。
There's the Okita I know. Not this mushy guy. I'm just kidding. If you're gonna give up... if you're gonna give up moving forward, then I'll make sure you have nowhere else to go. By this point, I wasn't sure just how many times Okita had threatened to kill me. But this must have been the first time ever that he said it in such a kind-hearted manner. Knowing that his word came from a well-intentioned place made my heart flutter warmly. Ah, yes. How to get girls, ladies and gents. Just tell them very kindly that you'll kill them if they fuck up. I'm just kidding. I don't know. These mushy romance dialogues, they got me laughing sometimes. Okita.
殺されたくないんなら諦めることなんて考えちゃダメだよ。
So, if you don't want this sword through your gut, don't even think of giving up.
僕だってその後君なしで生きていけるほど強くはないんだから。
I'm not strong enough to keep going without you either, you know?
僕は最後まで諦めない。だから君も僕と一緒に。
I won't give up till it's all said and done. For me, why don't we see what's waiting for us? The cadence of his voice was almost nervous. Perhaps Okita had been unsure of what I was feeling, so he gazed deeply into my eyes. Looking at his expression, I wanted to make his wish come true. No, wait, his wishes come true as well. I won't give up. My forehead burned hotly as if I were coming down with a fever. Oh, something is getting hot in here. Really? Why am I questioning this again? Anyways, tears began to stream down my face, but they hadn't come from anything close to resembling sadness. It was all because Okita felt that I was worth saving and that he wouldn't let me fall into darkness. Even if persevering meant that our road ahead would be a difficult one, it was the road we needed. I want to keep going with you, Okita. Oh boy, there was no hope in containing myself anymore. Okay, I'm gonna save this for science later and turn on I'll turn on the romantic setting later. I don't know what this does, and I don't have a good feeling about it for YouTube, but maybe later. There was no hope in containing myself anymore, and I grabbed a hold of him madly.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
君ならきっと
Had a
そう
feeling
言って
you'd
くれ
come
ると思って
around.
たよ。
Okita embraced me warmly in return. The sweet sensation of his breath tickled my forehead before he whispered into my ear. Why do I feel so fucking dirty doing this? God damn it!
ずっと一緒にいよう。何があってもずっと僕から離れないで。
No matter what, I'm not letting you get away. You and I are staying together until the end. His hand sweetly grazed the side of my cheek. As if he were nudging me. I timidly shut my eyes in anticipation. Okay. I kinda figured this was coming. Okay. Why am I screenshotting this? Whatever. Somebody's gonna be very happy with this one. He let out a quiet sigh as he put his tender lips against mine in one calm, confident movement. I could feel his finger tremble nervously, as if he were touching something so fragile it would crumble in the slightest touch. Okita always had a witty, sarcastic response, opting to let his mouth do the talking, but now there were no words from him, and together we basked in this intimate moment. He had been treating me so dearly. For once in my life, I felt whole, the thought of which nearly brought my tears. Our lips shook slightly, nestled in our passionate kiss. Good God. I was sure the same thoughts were running through... I was sure that the same thoughts running through me were running through Okita as well. Just thinking about how complete he made me feel. It convinced me there was no greater love than ours. My future was his future. Ours. Together. I pined ever so to continue being by his side, and would do whatever it takes to keep him. I would follow him until the end of time. Okay, let's finish this scene first. Then I'll Google what the fuck the romance option does. As these thoughts burned so fiercely inside me, so too did our kiss intensify, and each breath between our zealous smacking grew more strained and sensuous. Oh, okay, it's over. As our first kiss came to its end, we hesitantly stepped back from one another. Okay. Let's pause real quick. I need to know what this does. Fine. Okay, I'm going to need a very quick second here. Just to check. Okay, I guess it didn't do shite. I am probably gonna need to experiment with that one on my own for the sanctity of this whole run and whatnot. Okay, anyway. Our footsteps echoed in the emptiness surrounding us, met with only the pleasant whistle of the night wind. However, the silence made me feel a tad uneasy, so I searched for words to break the tension, but as soon as I became conscious of his fingers interlocked with mine, my mind went blank.
名残惜しいけど、ずっとこのままってわけにもいかないんだよね。
As much as I want to savor this moment, we can't be like this forever.
少し寝た方がいいんだろうけど、目が冴えちゃったな。
Guess we should probably get some sleep, but I don't think I could shut my eyes if I tried. Yeah. Okita Okita once again turned to gaze longingly at the glittering stars above, and I followed suit. Tomorrow, I would sever my ties with my twin brother, as well as the man whom I had believed to be my father. Could I really do it? Could I stop them?
ね
Hey, Obake. As I heard Okita call my name, my chest felt warm, and I looked at him with wide eyes.
え、そんな不安な顔しなくてもいいよ。気持ちはもう決まってるでしょ。
You don't have to get your kimono in a bunch. You already made up your mind, right? Well, of course.
君はどう考えてるかわからないけど、
I don't know what you're thinking, but
僕は戦うのを怖いと思ったことなんて一度もないし、
Fight-
彼らを殺すことへのためらいもない。
here we go. Fighting's never scared me. Neither has the thought of killing someone. I nodded. I had watched Okita's prowess on the battlefield many times before now. Okita was always full of confidence, never letting his hot-headedness get the better of him in a
近
duel.
藤さんが生きてた頃は目的なんて別にいらなかった。
It's getting a little dark in here. Let me turn on the lights. Whew. when Kondo was still alive, I didn't even have to think twice about a reason to kill someone.
新選組の剣として命じられるままただ目の前の敵を切ればよかっただけだから。
All I ever had to do was act as the Shinsengumi's sword, and I killed whenever commanded.
だからどんな汚い役目だって堂々と胸を張ってこなせたんだ。
That's why I was proud to do whatever mission they gave me, dirty job or not.
近藤さんがいなくなった今、僕が剣を振るう理由はたった一つしかない。
But now that Kondo's gone, I only have one reason to fight. And then Okita looked down towards me.
君のためだよ。
It's you, Obake. Okita.
こういう生き方を選んだのは僕だし、迷いなんてない。後悔もしない。
I chose this life. No, I chose this life, and there's not a single drop of doubt in my mind. I don't have any regrets, but
今までは先を望んだことなんてなかったから。
until now, I never gave much thought to the idea of having a future. As he muttered those words softly, I couldn't help but be taken aback by his apathetic confession.
別に生き急いでたわけじゃないし、寂しい生き方をしてたとは思わないんだけど。
I mean, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I was depressed, or like I had some pathetic death wish.
結局今まで僕は先のことなんて何一つ考えてなかったってことだろうね。
I guess I just didn't give a shit, you know? Like, it never occurred to me that living really mattered. You know, that's an odd feeling I can certainly kinda share. As bad as that sounds, I've been down that road a few times. Sometimes I still catch myself nearly wandering there, regardless. But, ah well, such is life, hmm? You do your best to try and not repeat mistakes, but sometimes you just wander around the same road for whatever reason. Like a cycle. Ah well, I finally seemed to understand the hesitancy behind Okita's treatment of myself. This conflict within myself, this emerging resolve to fight for me, was an entirely new experience for him. So, the battle between us and my family is also the battle to determine a future for ourselves, yes? Which means that defeat is not an option. This is the fight for our right to stay together, forever. Okita silently nodded.
この僕が未来のために戦うことになるなんて思わなかったけどね。
Man, if you told me in the past that I'd have to fight for my life and that I'd care about it.
今まで思っても見なかったことが次々と浮かんでくるんだ。
I'd tell you to shut up. All of a sudden, I'm faced with all these questions I'd never asked myself before. What do you mean?
例えば、この戦いが終わったらどこで生きていけばいいんだろうとか。
Well, for starters, when we are done fighting, where the hell are we gonna live? Oh, he's right. We no longer had a space we could call home. If we were to search for a place to live, could Okita, as a former captain of the Shinsengumi, find a place where he could live reclusively?
そんな顔しなくてもいいじゃない。君を落ち込ませるために言ったんじゃないんだから。
Ah, come on, smile for me, kid. I didn't say that to make you feel bad. Oh, right. Sorry.
ね
Hey, Obake? Yes? Okita paused at first, and I sensed his mind yep, that was it. Working as I gazed into his beautiful emerald eyes. I waited intently for him to continue, but as our eyes connected, it felt as though time was suspended, and my heart pounded furiously. My cheeks became hot from blushing. Oh boy. Within his irises, I saw myself flickering. No, wait, a flickering twinkle of green.
どうして目をそらしちゃうの？もしかして警戒してる？
Why you always act like a little girl when I talk to you? Can't you look me in the face? Don't be so mean.
意地悪って言われても、僕はずっと前からこんな感じだったでしょ？
Mean? Haven't I always been like this? Aren't you used to it?
でもまあ、どうせ意地悪って言われるんなら、
Well, if you're gonna call me mean anyways, then...
もう一度君に口づけしてもいい？
Oh my! Well, how about another kiss then? What? His remark came from nowhere, and I froze. But, we just kissed.
さっき口づけしたら、もうしちゃいけないの？
Wow! Damn! Man's, Ooh, man wants it. So, okay, maybe this is the part I need to, So, because we kissed earlier, it means we can't kiss again right now? Oh my. Well...
僕が聞きたいのは、君が僕を受け入れてくれるのかくれないのか。
I'm asking if you'll have me or not, that's all.
ちゃんと答えて。どっち？
So answer me, what's it gonna be? Did I really have to answer his question? I mean, I've always known Okita to be quite free with his sarcasm, but... I said... Okay. Give me a second. Well, I think there's a time and place for everything.
時と場合？どんな時ならいいの？
Time and place? Jeez, okay, princess. When's that? Huh? Well... Okita approached closer to me, as if saying, yes, we're a sure deal, and I flinched nervously. I hadn't the faintest clue of how to respond, whereas Okita wore his crooked smile proudly.
そういう姿を見てると、ますますいじめたくなるんだよ。
Watching you squirm like that makes me want to play with you even more. Oh boy, Okita reached his hand out to grab a hold of me by the wrist. His sudden movement caught me by surprise.
いいから、何も言わないで。
Okay there, buddy. Okay. Oh boy. Shh. Shh. It's okay. Don't speak. His eyes were fervently locked with mine. Okay. I panicked, attempting to step back and free my hands, but Okita would not let go. Okita?
君は本当ならもっと優しくて穏やかな未来を与えてくれる相手を選んだ方が幸せだったのかもね。
Maybe for you, you might have been happier with a man who could have given you a family, a little security, some peace, who knows. Huh? I noticed that Okita's voice seemed to drop, and I became a little unnerved as he continued. His eyes no longer seemed to bear within them the typical earnestness, but rather Okita seemed incensed for a reason that I couldn't identify.
僕はね、きっと君をとても困らせると思う。
You see, Obake, I think all I'll ever be to you is a big
もし
headache.
君がいつか僕を選んだことを後悔する日が来たとしても、手放してはあげられない。
Even if someday you were to wise up and come to regret your decision to fall for me, by then, I don't think I'd be able to let you go. His playful demeanor had all but vanished. What had surfaced in its stead was Okita's confession that he acknowledged his fear of losing my love, but in spite of this fear, he would keep his resolve to fight.
僕は君が死ぬまで一緒にいてあげることはできないかもしれない。
The closest we'll get to living side by side might be when we're 6 feet under the
ほ
ground.
んのわずかな未来はあげられても、その先まではわからない。
I can promise that
そ
I'll
れでも
Okay. I can promise that I'll fight to keep our future alive. But beyond making that promise, I don't know. His quivering mouth tickled me inside of my ear, and I could feel him mad with hot energy.
それでも僕は君を求めるよ。命ある限り、こうして君に触れ続ける。
No matter what, though, you're everything I want. As long as I will live, I will crave your touch.
君を傷つけることになっても、どうしても止められないんだ。
Even if that means putting you in harm's way. It's just that I can't help myself. Oh my. I knew that sharing these sentiments did not come easily to Okita, and he capped my face tightly. Okita, just as I was going to respond. How many of these am I gonna screenshot? I was interrupted by the touch of his moist lips. I won't let you say anything. I don't want you to say anything. Through the sensation of his wet, eager mouth, I could gather this is what he wanted to say. Our plump lips smeared against one another, and he pulled a fistful of my hair, drawing me deeper into him as he bit forcefully into my lower lip. This kiss was different. I could feel it in the rhythm of his muscle, bitter and yet ever so sweet. Okita was not afraid of fighting, of dying. Even if our adversaries were members of my own family, he could swing his sword without a second thought. But even so, that he had given it any thought at all, knowing that my well-being could be at risk, meant the world to me. And his kiss had communicated to me all of the subtleties that words could not express. After indulging for a moment, brief as it ever was, in the intimacy of each other's lips, there seemed to be something Okita needed answered. So, the minute our lips separated, I answered him with a great deal of confidence. I do not mind putting up with anything you might do to me, Okita. I will always forgive you, even knowing that our time together could be a limited one.
そんなこと言って、僕がいなくなったら絶対泣くくせに。
Easy to say that now, but I bet when I'm gone, you'll sob like a baby. That may be true. But I know at least I won't have any regrets, no matter what happens from here.
そういうの、殺し文句って言うんだよ。
Jeez, you sure know you got... No, wait. Jeez, you know you got some killer pickup lines? Well, you always said you would kill me, right? Now we're even.
まったく、君って子は。
Wow, aren't you something? Okita stroked my hair tenderly, staring back into my eyes longingly, as if this was a were a fond farewell. Perhaps the thought of our separation had hit him, and he had taken it to heart in this moment. Let's get some sleep soon. We'll need to prepare all we can. No, wait. Let's get some sleep soon. We'll need all the rest we can to prepare for tomorrow.
そうだね。
You're right. As we lied upon the ground, Okita spooned me, wrapping his arms under mine and nestling into my neck. Even if whatever happened tomorrow proved to be a conclusive end, it was no guarantee of a bright future. However, even keeping this in mind, Okita and I were supporting each other through and through, and we were heading for my village. Even in the face of death, or any hardship conjured under the vengeful eye of my brother, as long as Okita was beside me, I am not afraid of anything. My unwavering resolve made me stronger. The very next evening, we had finally arrived at the village of my origin, the village of the Yukimura. Within it were the people who had been awaiting my return for quite some time.
おかえり。ずいぶん久しぶりだね。
Oops. Welcome home, Obake. It has been a long time, my child.
まさかこの里でお前と再会できるとは思わなかったよ。
I never would have imagined that our reunion would take place in this, of all places. Father. A wave of nostalgia washed over me from seeing my father for the first time in 5 years. However, I was no longer the clueless girl I used to be, and I hadn't find myself rushing up to him happily.
こうしてここに来てくれたってことは答えは出たってことだろうけど
I assume that your arrival means you've come to answer my... No, wait, you've come with an answer to my proposition, so...
どうする俺たちと共に来るかい
What say you? Are you going to join us?
カオル君から話は聞いているね。
Kaoru told you everything, yes?
我々が再びこの日の元の支配者となる日が来たのだよ。
The day has come for us to rule Japan once again.
共に新たな鬼の王国を作り上げよう。
Together, we shall create a kingdom of demons. Father. Something in Father's words rang eerily to me. It sounded as though he was more excited by the prospect of usurping power rather than their initial proposition to rebuild the Yukimura clan.
顔色が良くないようだが。
Obake, you look pale.
まさかお前血を絶っているのではないだろうね。
Please do not tell me you have been refusing to drink blood.
分かっているだろうが、お前の体はすでに落ち水によって作り変えられてしまっている。
I am sure you are aware, my child, but your body has been reinvigorated thanks to the properties of the water of life.
血を飲まなくてはたちまち正気を失ってしまうよ。
However, it is imperative that you consume blood, or your sanity will diminish with haste. Father took a tone that reminded me of when he would admonish me as a child. I couldn't let myself dwell on nostalgia because there was something nefarious afoot in his behavior.
何をためらってるんだろうね
I wonder what could be holding her back.
せっかくだから起きたを殺して血を吸えばよかったのに
I mean, it would have been so easy for her just to kill Okita and drink his blood.
そうだな。そうするべきだ。羅刹などいくらでも作り出せるのだから。
Too right you are. Listen to your brother, my child. We can produce more Furies in no time at all. After Okita listened to them speak, he began to bark with laughter before turning to ask something of me.
どうしようか
Obake, what do you want to do?
君のためなら僕の命くらいあげてもいいんだけど
If it's for your sake, I'll give you however much blood you could want. All you could eat. I will not give up, not until the very end. I made a vow to you, remember? We were either going to break the curse of the water of life together, or not at all. Losing Okita, more than any mere serum would undo my sanity and give me no reason to live.
そうだね。君はこんな馬鹿げた提案に乗るような女の子じゃない。
You're goddamn right. You aren't the type of woman to fall for such a ridiculously stupid suggestion.
まさか。
Obake, don't tell me. Kaoru glared back at me with cold eyes, refusing to speak, lest he unleash his anger. If I were to guess, he was anticipating my answer even before I had said it out loud. I confidently faced him and father and stood tall. I cannot join the two of you. Kaoru let out a deep sigh.
お前は
Good grief, Obake. Seriously.
血を分けた兄も故郷も育ての親も何もかも捨てるつもりか。
You're that willing to throw everything away? Your twin brother, your village, and your father?
そこまでして男を選ぶなんてとんだ薄情者だな。
All that for him? You're a real bitch.
起きたなんてただの人間じゃないか。
I mean, Okita is merely a human.
しかも病で近いうちにくたばる上、落ち水のせいで狂い始めてる。
And not only will his disease kill him soon, but his mind will shatter from the water of life. Kaoru, don't you dare speak ill of Okita. I couldn't stand to stay silent as Kaoru shamelessly slandered Okita in front of me. There was a slight hesitation before saying this aloud before father and Kaoru, but I love Okita. That does not mean that either of you mean nothing to me, but Okita has a special place in my heart. If I were to commit to this relationship, then it meant I needed to separate myself from my family. I want to spend my life with Okita. For 10 years at... Oh, okay. No memes. Fuck. I'm sorry, I've been watching that scene a little too much at this point. I have no desire for an army of furies or a demon kingdom. I have no desire to carve a life that comes at the expense of hurting others.
俺たちのやり方は間違ってるっていうのか。
So, are you implying that our actions are unjust? That we have no claims to what we propose?
両親を殺され、里を奪われ、女鬼じゃないって理由で同じ鬼にまで散々虐げられたのに。
My parents were murdered, my village was burned to the ground, and I have faced retribution at the hands of other demons, all because I was not a female.
俺の人生をめちゃくちゃにした奴らへの復讐すら考えるなって。
And you're telling me that I'm wrong for seeking justice against those who stripped me of everything?
俺たちは一生虐げられる側に甘んじてろっていうのか。
You are asking me to continue living my life in shame and fear, in desolate oppression? Kaoru. If only Kaoru had found someone who mattered to him like Okita mattered to me. This was all I could think of to soothe his rage. But, like all things, I suppose, this was only a naive wish. Even so, there was no way to convince myself that Kaoru was just in his reasoning. Kaoru, of course, continued his tirade.
お前らだけ何もなかったように幸せに暮らすなんて兄さんはどうしても許せないな。
I will never allow you to live your happy, ignorant life as if nothing happened here. It seemed as though we became the targets of Kaoru's ire. Even though the same blood flowed through our veins, Kaoru and I shared no common goal or thread of life.
俺は俺の目的を果たす。たとえ可愛い妹を泣かせることになってもね。
I am going to do whatever it takes to accomplish my dream, even if it makes my darling sister cry. No, but that's why we...
力ずくでも君たちを止めさせてもらうよ。僕たちにも叶えなきゃならない夢があるから。
Sounds like they're done talking, kid. Well, this was fun, but we got a job to do as well. Then, our two groups leapt back to make ground.
お前たちごとき、俺一人でも簡単に倒せるけど。
You guys are pathetic. I could defeat you all by myself if I wanted to.
せっかくの機会だ。行動おじさんが完成させた羅刹の力を見せてやろうか。
But I suppose this is the perfect opportunity for you to witness the power of what a perfect fury is like, thanks to Kodo here.
しかし
起きただけ願わせればいいだろう。それくらいの正気は保ってるんだよね。
Well, it should be okay if we commanded only to attack Okita, right? They're sane enough to do that. Father stared off in contemplation, but eventually he put 2 fingers into his mouth, whistling loudly, as if to signal a nearby individual. Ooh, battle scene. Let's go, let's go! Then an eerie sight came to our attention. Huh? Before we knew it, dozens of red eyes shined through the darkness. Did all of those belong to Furies? It wasn't even just 10 or even 20 of them. Father, or just how many people have you sacrificed for your experiments with the water of life?
俺たちの王国を作るためだよ。必要な犠牲さ。
All of them gave their lives in service for our new kingdom. It was a necessary sacrifice.
それに、おじさんの実験台になって死んだ羅刹よりも。
Besides, this is a drop in the bucket. You know what killed more men than our Fury research?
多分、安静のコロリ騒ぎで死んだ人間の数の方が多いんじゃないか。
The number of casualties suffered from the Ansei Cholera disturbance was far greater. During the Ansei era, a vicious strain of cholera swept through Japan, killing thousands.
虫を踏み潰すたびに悲しんでたら、キリがないよ。
It's not as though you shed a tear for every single fly that's squashed, do you? Kaoru acted so coldly, which only set off my anger. No matter how many injustices were committed against Kaoru, it was no excuse for the atrocity both he and father were committing.
羅刹化したって言ってもさ、誰もが僕たちみたいに強くなれるわけじゃないよね。
Let me get this straight. Just because you've given all of these Furies their powers, you expect them to defeat us? Are you stupid?
剣の心得がろくにない人間に落ち水を飲ませたところで、弱い人間は弱いままだ。
Worthless swordsmen are still worthless swordsmen. It doesn't matter what bullshit serum you gave them. They don't stand a chance.
それなのに、こんなに数ばっかり増やしちゃって、ご苦労様。
All you cared about was your numbers, but you never thought about their skill. Nice one, smartass.
それはどうかな。残念だけど、お前の目論見通りにはいかないと思うよ。
I beg to differ. Unfortunately for you, I don't think things will go the way you expect them to. Kaoru signaled overhead, and father whistled once more.
お前たちに餌をあげよう。その男を殺してしまいなさい。
It's feeding time, my friends. Your dinner is that man right over there. Upon father's signal, all of the Furies emerged from the bush before viciously rushing to attack Okita.
下がってて。
Get back, Obake. But
大丈夫だよ。僕はこんな奴らに殺されるほど弱くないから。
it's gonna be
知って
fine.
るでしょ。
I'm too strong to let any of those bastards get to me. You know that, right? True, Okita's skill made it unlikely for any of these Furies to pose any significant threat to him. A lingering sense of dread wouldn't leave my mind, as if it was impossible to shake the fear. Okita, however, unsheathed his sword confidently. The Fury sprinted towards him like a moth to a flame, perhaps attracted by the shine of his sword. But Okita wasted no breath, using one concise slash to subdue the first wave of incoming Furies. I had noticed, however, these Furies were far stronger than anything I saw with the Shinsengumi. This seemed to be a non-issue for Okita, who cut limb from limb at each Fury with gusto.
この羅刹たちがいれば鬼の王国を作れるとか言ってたっけ?
You really thought you could create an army of Furies to take on the world with these guys?
この程度じゃ難しいんじゃないかな。僕一人でも一時あれば片付けられそうだし。
Might take you a little longer for world domination than you think. I mean, I might kill them all very soon. This was no simple boast. What Okita said was true. With the Furies darted around him in hopes of getting the better of his defenses to find an opening, Okita was twice as quick, killing each with aplomb. Wait, what? I thought they only died to silver bullets. What kind of fucking Furies are these? At this rate, it would not have been surprising to see Kaoru and Father's goal undone in minutes. In the back of my mind, I was still worried. Okita was a Fury, and as the blood of his enemies drenched him like a torrential storm, I knew it was only a matter of time before his cravings would strike. No sooner than the thought entered my mind. Oh no! Oh shit. Okita suddenly halted in place. Okita? Anxiously, I called out to him. The gurgling screams of a nearby Fury was soon followed by a visceral splatter of fresh blood. This sadly was not enough. Okita began stabbing at the fresh corpses that littered the ground around his feet. The foul, metallic scent of blood became thick. Oh no. Finally! He has submitted to his bloodlust. For a human, he lasted longer than I expected. No! Okita was growing mad. Mad with bloodlust? No, this can't be happening. But, Okita! I screamed his name, and he slowly turned his head to glance back at me. However, I saw no hint of sanity within his dilated eyes. He was drunk from the scent of blood. I was shaking violently, and out of nervousness, I ran towards Okita. Oh no! Oh no! No! Obake! Stay back! From behind me, I could hear Father calling out my name. I grabbed at Okita's sleeve once I reached him. Okita! Refusing to believe he was lost in bloodlust, I repeated his name, hoping he would come to. Then, Obake? He muttered my name from under his breath. Oh, I was so elated to hear it. Underneath this madness, he was still the same Okita. Or was he? Nice! Wait, not nice! Oh no! Gasp! Something cold and sharp was forced through my chest. Obake! Father's voice echoed behind me. Everything went quiet, except for the burning sensation in my chest, then the pound of my heart. Eventually, the blade in my chest came into focus just before it was yanked out. Feeling began to leave my legs, and before I knew it, I collapsed to the floor. I attempted to stand, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't move my arm or my legs, nor could I rise. Though I expected the temperate summer winds to breeze by, I was suddenly shivering from cold just then. Obake? A shaky voice echoed where I was lying. It was Okita, whose eyes were no longer stained red with madness. While I initially took comfort from this thought, I still had a sense of dread in me.
しっかりして。僕はなんてことを。
Obake, hang in there. What did I do? Not only would I no longer be able to remain beside Okita, I knew that he would regret having put his blade through my chest.
大丈夫。君一人だけを行かせたりはしない。
Don't worry, I won't let you die alone.
僕もすぐに後を追っていくから。先に行って。
I'll be right behind you. Just wait for me. Just wait a second for me, would ya? Obake. Those were the last words I heard from him. Damn, I got the bad end. Oh, fuck. I must have screwed up somewhere. Okay, let's, try to not fuck this up any further. What in the hell? I must have fucked up one of the choices. I bit my lip aggressively, and I unsheathed my Kodachi. Then...
何を。
Obake, what are you doing? Please take a sip. I cut along the length of my palm, and I offered my bloody hand to Okita. You want blood, right? Please drink mine.
でも、君だって血が欲しいんじゃないの？
But what about you? Don't you need to drink blood too? Well, it's not as if I don't. My throat suddenly became dry and scratchy from thirst, which only worsened my cravings. But I don't need it. What I truly wanted was a reprieve from this suffocating appetite. It was driving me mad. I tried to think of a joyful moment, a time when we could live life peacefully away from these impulses. Hopefully, Okita and I could carve a future where the serum's poisonous effects no longer held us hostage. I'm a demon, and even though I was forced into drinking the water of life, numbness started trickling throughout my body, perhaps trying to coax me into quenching my thirst. But even still, I don't need blood! I just wanted to live by Okita's side.
そっか。わかった。いい子だね。
I see. Gotcha. That's a good girl. Okita whispered softly, and he grabbed a hold of my hand heartily.
僕であるために君の血を飲む。狂ってしまわないように。
I am drinking your blood to keep myself sane so I won't go mad. Okita tickled my ears with his torpid tone, utterly enthralled by the soothing taste of my blood. My body, on the other hand, was still aching longingly with bloodlust, but even so, watching him take such a lucid pleasure from happily lapping up my blood, I nodded firmly. And I won't drink your blood, so that I can keep my wits about me. This is my burden to bear.
強い子だね。
You're stronger than me, kid. A slight pinch shot up my arm as Okita sucked in one more generous mouthful, then let out a deep sigh.
でもきっともうじきだから。
But I'm sure I'll get there soon. Okita's reassuring words made me realize how much he worked to keep me from giving in to the madness. Okay. Let me rest for a sec. Is this the same CG? Nope, never mind, it isn't.
もうすぐ夜が明けるし、今日はこの辺で休むことにしようか。思った。明日に彼、
Okay.
ちょっと、
I think we're gonna have to fast forward this.
今日は昼、どうい、話、
I don't want to read all this again. I'm sorry.
じゃ、僕、だから、僕は、だから人間をねだ、君、そんな世の中、落ち水の毒、君は、それ、君、僕、
God damn it. Sorry, I'm kind of button mashing.
近藤さん、新鮮だからでも、君のため、こういう今まで、結局、この僕、今、たとえ、ねえ、どうして目を意地は、でもまあ、もう一度、さっき僕が聞きたいの、ちゃんと答えて。
Okay, so did the other choice lead to a better end? Nah, never mind. No, it didn't.
と、そう。
Alright. It's the Skippy.
いいから。何も言わないで。君。僕もし。それ君を
Oops, that was it. Okay, come on. We've already seen this. I'm not narrating this shit twice. Okay.
おかえり。まさかこの
こうしてどうする？
カオルくん、我々共に顔色、まさか我がちよ。
何をためらってる？せっかくだから。
そうだな。
どうしようか。君のためなら僕の。そうだね。
まさか。
お前は俺は
力ずくでも。
Oh, wait. That was new dialogue. Whoops. Okay. Father, please wake up. What gives you the right to kill so needlessly, just to create a world for demons? Even though our clan was destroyed by humans, we had no right to claim to something more than anyone else in this country. Deep down, I knew Father believed this as well. Father, you're a doctor. You've spent your life helping countless others. Don't you remember how many patients you treated in Edo? All those times they thanked you?
それは。
Well, I knew Father could not attribute the evils committed against our people to every human. So as long as he could learn to forgive, then he could continue to live in the company of humans. I know that humans humans and demons can still coexist peacefully. Just like how we used to live peacefully in Edo.
お前
Obake. I saw Father's eyes flicker. There was still goodness inside of him. What is this, Darth Vader?
お前は本当に甘いね。
Aw, there we go. Hell, you really are naive.
人間たちとの争いを避けようとして、俺たちの一族は滅ぼされたんじゃないか。
Our clan was destroyed because we wanted to avoid war. So what? If you keep this up, all you're doing is perpetuating the same cycle of violence. If and only if we were able to wipe out all of the humans from this country using the Furies, any human who survived will come to resent us. Kaoru, do you want to create more orphans like us?
じゃあ、どうしろって言うんだ。
So, what do you want me to
一
do?
人が過去にされた理不尽な所業を忘れて我慢すればいいっていうのか。
You think I should just forget all the wrongdoings in the past and take it on the chin?
いいけど俺はそこまで善人にはなれないな。
Sorry, but fat chance. I'm not as much of a pushover as you are.
前に言っただろ。強いやつが報われるんじゃない。
I've told you,
正しいやつが成功するんじゃない。
I've told you before. Those with the power to do great things are seldom given the opportunity at the hand of their rivals.
最後に笑うのは
Okay. Kaoru took something out of his pocket, it was. The moment I saw him pull out a glass vial, I felt something shudder from deep within my soul. Kaoru! Kaoru merely grinned maliciously before opening the vial and gulping its content in one deep sip. Oh, shit. He clenched madly at his throat. Suddenly his hair turned white, and from his scalp, I watched a thick horn raise itself. Why? Why would you drink the water of life?
うちみつで鬼の肉体を強化するにはどれくらいの濃さが必要になるか。
Gotta let it out, gotta let it out. Sorry. Only something so potent as this could possibly awaken the demonic powers residing inside of me.
確かめるのは簡単だったらしいよ。可愛い妹が実験台になってくれたからね。
You know, it wasn't that difficult to do. It was an experiment, my dear sister. What? Kaoru, the wielder of the Kadachi, Daitsuru, which is nearly identical to the protagonist. Kaoru willingly drank the water of life just to obtain more power? Was that it? How could he be so unaware of the path to which he was now fully committed?
沖田が弱くないことは俺だってよく知ってるからさ。
I know just how strong Okita
だからっ
is,
てここで負けるわけにはいかない。
but this is not a duel I can afford to lose.
こんなところで殺されたら今までの俺の人生が本当に無意味になるからな。
If I die here, then it'll mean everything I have worked so hard to achieve would go to waste. Kaoru clasped his hand around his katana's hilt, drawing it in one swift movement. In return, Okita unsheathed his gift from Kondo.
よくわかるよ、その気持ち。
Look, man, I get
もし負けたら僕を捨てた姉上、そして僕を虐げた兄弟子たちや僕を憐れんで見下したや
bullied or abandoned, and everyone who ever stepped on your foot would be vindicated.
僕も近藤さんに会うまではずっとそうやって生きてきた。
Until I met Kondo, I lived a lot like you do. Always had something stuck up my ass.
だからこそ彼女に同じ思いをさせるわけにはいかない。
Which is even more reason for me to make sure she doesn't suffer.
僕はこの子と生きなくちゃいけない。だから絶対に負けられない。
My life is
それだけだ。
hers. That means I can't afford to lose either. Surely you understand. Okita. My heart fluttered at the sound of Okita's dedication. As the sound of Okita's dedication played repeatedly in my head. It was a sentiment that I shared with her.
バカじゃないのか。
Enough! I'm tired of dealing with you morons! Kaoru growled, angrily, throwing himself at Okita. Ching! Each clash of their blades produced bright sparks. Becoming a fury must have increased his strength to an unfathomable degree. Both his speed and the force of his strikes came with an increased velocity, and Kaoru swung madly at Okita. Okita, however, was able to dodge each of Kaoru's advances with ease, and he put distance between them.
たとえ俺に勝ったところで、お前なんてすぐにくたばるよ。
Even if you kill me here, it's not like you'll be very far behind me.
羅刹の力は寿命を削るって知ってるだろ。
You know using your fury power saps away at your lifespan, right?
ただでさえ老害で残り少ない寿命があとどれくらい残ってるんだろうな。
I mean, you've already got a short lifespan as it is. I wonder how many minutes you've got left. Yet again, Kaoru flailed his blade one-tardedly, hoping to gravely wound Okita, but Okita evaded all his
知
strikes.
ってるよ。だけど残り少ない命ならなおさら君に渡すわけにはいかない。
I know, so if I don't have much time left, there's no way I'm using it all on you right now. The electrifying rhythm of their fiercely contested battle made it difficult to keep up. Tension made the air thick with rot and despair.
次の一投で決めさせてもらう。
There's one more attack and it'll be done.
死に損ないにこれ以上時間を取られるわけにはいかないからな。
I no longer have the luxury of wasting time with a dead man walking.
望むところだよ。
Aw, yeah! Bring it on, fucker! Both of them kicked the ground at the same time. In the space of a flash, each combatant struck the other. Okita was struck in his bicep, and blood flowed freely from the wound, spilling onto the ground below. This did little to stop Okita, however, and he returned the favor by slicing the middle of Kaoru's abdomen. Kaoru's body was scarred by Okita's well-aimed strike. A strange and disconcerting sight indeed. As we had expected, this fight was life or death. Rather than waiting for their injuries to heal, both men exuded a fiery resolve to see their opponents hacked into pieces until he was no longer anything that resembled human. No longer resembled anything human. Oops. Mentioned. This match, as I see it, is over. Kaoru looked capable of fighting, if just a bit more. But Okita appeared to have exhausted every last bit of energy he had left, as he could barely stand.
それじゃあな、起きた。せめて最後は楽にあの世へ送ってやるよ。
Farewell, Okita. The least I can do for you is to give you a quick, painless death. Then Kaoru raised his bloody sword when... Kaoru, don't! I refused to stay quiet, and I screamed out to Kaoru in hopes of stopping him. There's no more need to fight. Do you plan on doing this forever? Neither Okita nor I want to kill you. All we want is to cease the senseless fighting and find a cure for the water of life.
うるさい、止まれよ。それとも起きたより先に死にたいのか。
Shut up! Do you want to die before Okita does? After shrieking at me, Kaoru began to charge at me. I had to find a way out of his path. His fury-enhanced speed was beyond comprehension, and I had no chance to escape.
待て、カオル。
Kaoru, wait! Okita tried hopelessly to run right behind Kaoru, but by then, Kaoru was a practical arm's length away from me. And just as I had embraced the thought of death, a body flung itself frantically in front of me. A very familiar voice screamed right within earshot. Father? Father, the man who had raised me since I was a young girl, sacrificed his body, which was punctured brutally by Kaoru's sword. Father, you protected me. He said nothing. All he offered in response was the same stern expression I'd seen and known my entire life.
この邪魔をしやがって。
You bastard! How dare you get in my way! Kaoru, on the other hand, seemed merely inconvinced as he kicked his foot against his father's body to extract his sword. As father's body slowly descended towards the ground, I reached my arm to keep him upright, and then
救いようがないやつっていうのも世の中にはいるんだね。
I guess there are some people in this world who just can't be saved. Oh,
憎
the
んだ相
hero
手はいくらでもいたけど、
might
ここまで嫌いになった
oh
のは
shit, this is it.
君が初めてだ。
By the way, I may have held a grudge or two in my life, but I've never met someone I've wanted to kill more than you, pipsqueak. And in the very next moment, Okita drew his blade directly into Kaoru's heart with ruthless conviction. With that, Kaoru's body dropped to the cold ground. His eyes were empty, and his limbs sprawled across the dirt. He looked incapable of standing.
救いようがないやつか。
Can't be saved, huh?
別に構わないさ。俺は生まれてこの方、救われたいなんて思ったことはないからな。
Whatever. I've never given a damn about salvation in my entire life. Kaoru gazed lifelessly into the distance, letting out a pained exhale. And then quietly, he shut his eyes, for his life was over. Kaoru. Although I believed I had been prepared to see this, watching it unfold before my very eyes was far more difficult than I could bear to stomach. Sorrow found its place inside my heart, as if a piece of me had died alongside Kaoru. At the end, we were unable to come together. If only I could have known more about him. This regret would come to haunt me, I imagined, and I gritted my teeth as the reality took shape in my mind. Luckily, I had Okita to comfort me. Obake. Okita called out to me, and I turned around.
そこにいるのか。
Obake, are you there, child? Father, whose skin was as pale as a porcelain doll, also called out to me.
答えてあげなよ。
My fear was that as soon as I would speak, I would begin to cry uncontrollably, but somehow I fought back the tide of tears, and I answered him. Yes, Father, I am here.
そうか。
I see. Father's brows widened in relief.
すまんな。こんなに近くにいるのに、お前の顔が
Forgive me, for you are so near, and yet I cannot see your face. Without saying anything, I took hold of Father's hand. It was icy to the touch. He must have lost a significant amount of blood by now. His condition was critical enough that even if he were to receive medical attention, it would be too late.
お前に伝えねばならんことがある。
Obake, I must tell you something. Father, you're only gonna tire yourself out. I mean, you're only going to tire yourself. Please, you don't need to strain yourself by talking.
いや、この体ではもう助からん。
No, I will not make it out of this anyways. Forget about me.
この地の清き水は落ち水を薄めることができる。
This land contains a spring of pure water capable of reducing the water of life's effects. What?
その力を使えば落ち水の毒をも浄化できるやもしれん。
If you can harness it and use its power, maybe it can be used as an antidote for the water of life. With his very last bit of strength, he gave us the solution for which we had been searching all along.
お前の父親らしい行いが最後にできただろうか。
Was I able to protect you, daughter? Just like a father should? In my final moment? Oh. Ah. Father. Blood may have been thicker than water, but there was a bond between us that was unbreakable, all the same. When I was still a young girl, I had memories of my kind father, carrying me on his back as we sped down the mountain trail. You will always be my father, no matter what, even if not by blood. This is a promise. You are the only father I ever had, the only man I am honored to give this distinction. Hearing my promise, my father smiled faintly. He drew one last breath, seemingly at peace. I braced myself to accept the loss of these men, but it did nothing to stifle my grief. Could anything? Kaoru, my estranged twin brother, who died before either of us could get to know the other. Father, who always seemed to wish the best for me, even until his dying breath. These lamentable thoughts swirled tirelessly. Both of them surely were men that would impact my life for as long as I live. My promise to them, if I could, would be to preserve their memory. I will not let them go forgotten. Then Okita softly put his hand on my shoulder. He tenderly ran his finger along the length of my scalp before patting me like he would a child.
泣いてもいいよ。
Crying's all right, Obake. Okita. In the next moment, Okita wrapped his arm around my fragile frame, embracing me tightly. His body served as conduit. Through with my inner frustrations were channeled and brought to the surface. Okita! Despite my relief in seeing Okita safe, having it come at the expense of my family gave me heartache. Would I ever be able to shake this remorse? In spite of my best efforts, I started bawling madly. Okay, at this point, I can't even blame her. This is just fucking sad.
今日はよく頑張ったね。君は本当に強い子だ。
You did great today. You really kick ass, kid.
剣じゃなくて心の強さだったら僕なんかよりずっと強くなっちゃったかもしれないね。
when it comes to the strength of the heart rather than the sword. You got me beat by a long shot. His method of comforting me was what one would likely expect when speaking with a child, but he still knew how to tell me what I needed to hear most. The fact that he wouldn't hold back the truth from me made my love for him burn even hotter, and tears streamed without and my tears streamed without restraint. Phew. Okay, I think we got the actual ending to this route, and not the what the fuck depressing ending. Oh, jeez. If this is how I feel for 2 hours, with goof-ups. I can't imagine doing this for any longer. Oh, hey! Wait, I recognize a few of these guys. Damn. I can't believe I got the bad ending for one of them. Fuck! I still don't think I'm quite the audience for this shit. But, well. Oh, final chapter. The sky sparkled clearly, and beside us there was a stream of pure water. As we found ourselves surrounded by a lush meadow and thick trees, our body began to feel a change. By the time the crescent moon had risen alongside a sea of stars, we could finally lay our heads at rest, and for once in a long while, we woke to a bright morning. Our lives were no longer constricted by our murderous thirst for blood, and we regained the peaceful lives for which we had pined for so long. Thankfully, we were still blessed with some of the heightened features that came with drinking the serum. Of course, there were things that hadn't changed at all. We were still us. Okita hadn't fully recovered from his tuberculosis. The illness still ate away at his body, but even so, I took solace that I could spend a day as delightful as today was with him. Sure is beautiful, isn't it? I squinted as I turned my eyes towards the sunlight, and Okita let out a small chuckle.
そうだね。君と二人きりで日向ぼっこなんて最高の贅沢だ。
Sure is. Being able to bask in this sunlight with you is all I need. Couldn't ask for more. Yup. Sunlight, which had previously served as a painful curse to Furies, no longer burned our skin. All that changed is our aptitude for naps. So, it became customary for us to fall asleep, soaking in the tender warmth of the summer sun. Feeling safe and snug behind Okita's comforting presence was like a dream-like kind of bliss. Naturally, I couldn't help but yawn. Okita, of course, laughed at the sight.
寝ちゃダメだよ。僕はまだ眠くないから。
You can't sleep. I'm not tired yet. But I'm tired already.
君が寝ちゃったら退屈だし。もう少し僕の相手をしてよ。
Okay, but if you fall asleep, I'll get bored. Hang out with me a little more, would ya? Okay. I rubbed my aching eyelids soft.
好きだよ。
Okay, one more for the boss. Okay, I think that's enough. I've got enough to tease her with later. I might be the worst employee ever, but, well, I don't forget the people who treat me kindly. Okay. Thank God no one's gonna clip this. I love you, Obake. Oh God, that's embarrassing. Anyways, huh?
君のことが好きだよ。誰とも比べられないぐらい。
Good God. This reads like a weird confession. My love for you shines more than the sunlight tickling those little cheeks of yours. No one else compares. Okita reached out to grab me in a tight hug, and he muttered this softly into my ear. As the sensation of his breath tingled my earlobe, suddenly I felt my cheeks blush hotly. That's not fair.
ずるいって。何が？僕は自分の気持ちを正直に言っただけだけど。
What's not fair? I'm just telling you the truth. His fondness for poking fun at me was something he'd never let go for as long as we were together. Jeez. At first, my expression was pouty, but I couldn't keep from bursting into laughter. Yeah, neither can I doing this thing. Perhaps it was because, for once, we could savor the moment without words.
君は僕のこと好き？
So, how about you? You love me too, right? His question was hushed, as if he were telling me an intimate secret. Then he gazed deeply into my eye. Well, yes. Okay, that's enough. What?
君の気持ちを
I don't want to hear
ちゃん
yes.
と言葉で聞か
I
せて。
want to hear you say it yourself. Okita was grinning impishly, but I took it to mean he was eager to hear my words of affection. Every time he asked me for my feelings, he demanded an immediate answer. He valued my opinion, and he craved my validation. Knowing this to be the case, I felt compelled to give him as honest of an answer as I could. Oh boy. I love you, Soji, more than anything. I saw Okita's face beam with excitement. Watching his cheeks puff happily made me blush harder.
ありがとう。
Gotcha. Thanks, Obake. He wrapped his long, slender fingers around mine. However, he was grasping it more tightly than usual, leading me to wonder. Soji?
忘れないで。僕はいつだって君の幸せを願ってる。
Don't you ever forget. Seeing that goofy smile on your face is what I cherish the most. His words were like honey, soft and gooey, but sweet all the same.
君が寂しくないよ。僕はできる限りのことをするから。
I'll do whatever it takes so that you'll never feel lonely again.
だから、どうか
please. I inched closer to him, anxious about letting any amount of space between us go unfilled. Okita seemed a tad nervous about our future. I too was nervous about what the future could hold for the two of us. I'm going to be okay. I held his hand delicately in mine. You complete me so dull. Fuck, I can't read this. My brain. I need to go back to Souls immediately. This is too mushy, damn it. Anyways, you complete me, Soji. Because of him. Because of him. Everything that had happened these past years was worth it. I was able to fall in love. You bring me joy I never knew existed. I don't think I'd feel lonely even if I tried. If I tried. His sad, emotional eyes thinned, and he squeezed a smirk from his lips. After a moment, he wrapped his arm, pulling me in closer to his large, muscular frame.
君のことが心から愛おしい。
From the bottom of my heart, I love you. He spoke as if uttering a vow.
だから信じて。
Trust me.
たとえいつか離れる時が来ても、僕の心は永遠に君のものだ。
Even if one day they tear me away from you, my heart belongs to you eternally. His emerald eyes twinkled as he smiled. Then he shut his eyes. His embrace loosened, if only slightly, and he let out a small sigh. Soji? At first, no answer. I suppose he spent enough energy making his feelings for me known, and he dozed off. Or perhaps the sun's warmth made a nap quite the proposition. You just said you weren't tired. I giggled to myself. What was I going to do with him? But I put my lips right beside his ears. I feel the same way about you too. Whatever he had been dreaming must have been a pleasant one, as his lips curled into a smile. Even if one day they tear me away from you, I muttered his words slowly, letting them seep into my heart. My heart belongs to you, eternally. May this warmth live forever. May his arms forever find comfort in my embrace. I whispered these prayers softly to myself, and I shut my eyes in concentration. Okay. If he were to wake up, I'm sure that this time he would hear it. I will say it over and over, so that he will never doubt my words of love. Good night, Soji. So until then, sleep well, my love. Okay, that was a much better finale than whatever the fuck I got the first time. That was... terrible. Absolute shit. Alright, that's enough. Okay, well, that ends that. It was a pleasant trip all the rest. But, well, all things come to an end. I'll have to think of something else for Sundays now that I'm done with this one. But stay tuned for that one. I'll see if I can work something out. Until then, catch you guys next time. And thanks for tuning in, whether it's now, the future, etc. Even though this is me fumbling words in a romantic visual novel, because I fucking suck with these things. Anyways, see you around, everyone.